Yes, sir.
So the first thing, please, have you created a file called youtube.html?
Yes.
If you have done that, let's get our boilerplate. Remember last class, I gave you a shortcut for getting your boilerplate. Who can remind us? Who can remind us shortcut of getting boilerplate?
Control. No, it's
No, it's not control. The boilerplate is shift and one.
shift one.
I think
Yeah,
shift I.
yeah, thank you very much. Thank you very much. So you will now press what? Enter. So this is our boilerplate. And we said it's a structure. So let's pass the title to be YouTube clone website. So we are trying to clone a YouTube website from scratch. Now, I will be putting this website, I will be explaining this particular website as I proceed. If you look at this particular website that you have here, this is actually a container. There's a container here. And basically in HTML, containers are called divs. Alright, it's not only div that is a container. Something like your article, your session, something like your main, all these are the same thing, they are called container, but it's just because of semantics, that's why they separated them. All right, and this one that you are seeing on top here is actually element called input. It's an input towards element. So what we are going to do right now is this. We are going to get our input. So if I want to get our input, I should have my input, my elements. Okay, then input has a type of what, text. So if I save this, I go live. I believe I installed the live server to your. I asked you to install live server last class, right?
Yes, sir.
So you will see go live at the bottom there. So you can see that this particular code I just wrote here is what is showing here. Okay, and you also notice something that I can type inside that particular box. I can type inside this particular box like Emmanuel. All right, I can type inside the box. Now the other thing you need to take note is not only the input type of text that we have input type of let me just put them here, input type of button. All right, we have input type of what, of button. So you can see that this is a button. So if you want to have something to be on your button, you can call attribute of what, of value. You can call attribute of value. So I can say value equals to uh, send. So let's say this is the value I'm giving this now. So I gave it a value of send. What am I having? It's telling me that I'm having a big fat word error. You can see that I'm back to my word, to my code. Okay, so it's not only button that we have for your input type. We have input type of date. So you can pass in a date here. So just pass in a date here. All right. So you can see that this is coming in a form of date format. So if I click on this place to bring out the dates, June 2021, 2025, these are the dates. Okay, I can select any date from there. So that's not enough. We also have input type of email. Input type of what, of email. So what you have for the input type of email is that it's only accept email address. So if I type something that is not having @ here, it will not allow it to be what, to be submitted. Then we also have input type of password. There are plenty of them. So I just want to exploit all of them before I will start my work back. We have input type of password. Now please, the type and the value, they are called attributes. So please, this is not needed for this. Neither is it needed for what? For this. It's only needed for button. Because button, the value is just the text that you want to appear on your button. So you can see that when I call my input type of password and I type anything here, you can see that it's coming in a form of what? Of a password like format. So that's not the what we have. We still have input type of what? Of file. Let's assume that you want to upload your passport, you want to upload your picture. You can see that if you click on this, all right, It give you, you can go to your browser, to your directory, and upload any file or picture that you want to upload. Okay, so you can upload anything you want to upload on this your system. So you can see capture.png I've uploaded. It's input type of what? Of file. Alright, so there are a lot, there's still more about it. We have input type of radio button. We have input type of check button. Alright, so probably with time we will see how we exploit other input type. But notwithstanding, let's come back to our class. Now, if you notice something is appearing here. Hello, are you guys with me? Hello?
Yes.
Yes, sir. Yes,
All
sir.
right, if you notice that this input type of text, there's a text showing here that is not clean until I type. So what they use to achieve that is actually called what? A placeholder. So I'm going to give it a placeholder. A placeholder is also attribute. All right, it's also attribute. A placeholder of what? Search. A placeholder of what? Search. So if I save this now, so you can see that I'm having placeholder on my system. I'm having the placeholder on my words. Ah, shit. Alright. I'm having the placeholder on my words on my system. Now, the next thing you will see that they have here, let's say they have, let's first of all work with this part. So what they have here now is they have images showing here, okay? So if you want to display image in HTML, there's an element called img. So use your img element. So use your img element. So the img element has attribute of sroc. It also attribute of what? alt. All right, sroc means source, alt means alternate. Alternate means or text that you want to appear in case if the image did not load out. So what I'm going to do right now, I'm going to save this guy. I'm going to save this image. Save image as. So I'm saving it inside the directory I created. I created this folder, front-end dev, Abby. So let's say I created something here. Let me create an image folder here. Create a new folder called images. So inside these images, I want to create another folder. So I'm going to call it thumbnail. And one thing you need to understand when you are building a website, you have to learn how to structure your files so that you know where your heroes are, your pictures are going, where your script are going. It's very, very, very important for you to take note of that. So you can see that I created a folder called images. Inside images, I created another folder called what? Thumbnail. So inside thumbnail is what I'm dropping, what? My picture. So why did I bring that in is that I want to upload that picture in my environment. So what I will do is, this sroc that I see here, sroc says since it's inside images, I'll first of all locate images. So I will now locate thumbnail before I will now locate my words, my picture. If I save this, you can see that the picture is appearing on my words on my browser. So in a nutshell, it is not in a nutshell. If you don't want to go through this route, if you don't want to go through this route, you can just use directory listing. So what do I mean by directory listing? You know that I enter to directory before I get access to my image. I will say dot, then my /. So when I say dot, my /, do I have access to my image? No. Alright, I'm not seeing my image. It means that I'm out of it. So you can see when I say dot, my /, I have access to image, I have access to thumbnail, I have access to this. So if I save it, I'll see be in a very, very good shape. This is still the image that I just brought in inside the environment. Now let's go back. Let me go back to the code. So I'm going to remove this one. Or let me just use this format. This format will be cool. Now what do you observe? When I maximize my browser, you notice that this input type of text and this image, they are placed side by side. Why are they placed side by side? Now in CSS properties of elements, elements can exist in the form of a block, elements can exist in the form of a line block, and element can exist in the form of inline. So I want to explain the concept of block, inline, and the other concept I just mentioned now. So what I'm going to do right here now is this. So that you know which one is block and which one is inline block. Let's say I bring in a paragraph here. A p element is all called what? Paragraph. So let's just copy something from here. Let me copy this guy here, Talking Tech AI with Google Words CEO. I paste this guy here. Now, observe something very carefully. I have this here. If I save this, I check my browser. Now, look at what you're observing. This guy, this particular paragraph element is not much, all right? It's still very few. But if I bring another thing here again, I will not be able to place any item here. Any item I bring in here will go down. So let me give you an example. Let's say I bring in another image here now. Let's say I bring another picture. Let's just use this picture as a case study. I brought another picture here. I paste it here. All right, my bad. Let's say I duplicated this. I brought this back. Now, let's see something. When I maximize this now, you notice something here. This my Talking Tech AI with Google CEO. If the length is not actually up to this side, but why is it that my image did not appear here? My image has to go down. Now the concept is this. The paragraph element is actually what? A block element. Please let me know if you can hear me and if you are following me.
So we can hear you, sir, but we cannot follow you. We don't have the YouTube exercise to copy the image and the rest.
Okay, let me drop the link. I'll drop the link on the
Uh-huh.
WhatsApp group now. Thank you. Sorry. I've dropped the link there. You can download the picture from there. Is it okay? Is it okay now?
Yes, it's okay now.
Uh, okay. So let's continue. Some of us might have gone through this process. Now, what I'm saying in essence is this: that the paragraph element is actually what? A block element. The image element is inline block element, and the input element is inline block element. Let me explain that to you again. Well, if you inspect this browser, let's inspect this browser. Now, what do you observe? When I put my cursor here, let me pick it. What do you observe? You notice that I have this blue line that move from what? From this side to this other edge. All right? It means that nothing can come at this particular point, that this particular element has taken over what? That space. Do you understand? That is how to know a block level element. Then how do you know inline block elements? Inline block level elements. You see this image? Inline block level elements, they are placed on the position where they are supposed to be on the browser. So you can see that blue line, that blue color on this image. If you see the same thing is going on here too. So it means that the input element is inline block level element. Why this image is also what? Inline block level element. So by default, the paragraph element is actually what? A block level what? Element. Please, is that understood? Now the question now is, how do I convert a block level element to inline block level element? How do I convert a block level element to inline block level element? So what you do is that you set your display to be block. For example, let's assume that this one that is breaking down. Let's say I want this image to come here now. I'll go to the paragraph element. All right, I'll just use CSS property to style it. I'll go to the paragraph element. I'll call style. I'll say style. Then I'll call the display property. This is inline CSS. Then I'll give it what? Inline block. I'll give it inline what? Block. Please let me know if you can hear me. I'll give it inline block. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
So now what do you observe?
Yes.
This Talking talking tech and AI with Google, it has come to this particular position. So it has been converted to what? To inline block level element. Are you getting it now? It means that it can be here because there is still enough space for something to come in here. But it was going down because it's a block level what element. Now I've converted it to inline block level element. That's why you are seeing it here. Alright, so let's now go and structure our this thing to look like what we really want. So let me remove this. I'm going to leave this. I'm going to remove this. So basically what we'll be using inline what CSS, inline CSS. So inline internal CSS, internal CSS, we should create our style tag, our style element. They will begin to style it one after the other. So this one that you have here, I'm going to give it a class of search bar. I'm going to give it a class of search bar. Why this one you see here, I'm going to give it a class of thumbnail. So I'm going to give them class so that I will be able to to style them. Class of thumb. Then this one, I'm going to give it a class also. I'm going to give it a class of title, video title. Let's give it a class of video title, video title. Now I haven't done this now. I'm going to call this my style here. The first one I have there is my, remember I said in last class, if you are calling the class, you need to put a dot, right? Search bar, bar. Curly brace open and close. So the other class that I have here is a class of thumbnail dot thumbnail. I'll have my hyphen and close. Then the last class I want to bring in here is the video the video title. So dot video hyphen title. Now if you look at the way this thing is appearing here, this particular search on the sample that we are looking at, the search is supposed to be on top, right? The search is supposed to be on top, isn't it? Hello? Hello? Hello?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Alright, the search is
We can hear
supposed to be on top. So what will I need to do now? I need to look for a way to make it to appear on top. So what I will do first, I will first of all convert it to something like a block. So I'm going to make it this search bar. I'm going to give it a display. Sorry, it's already a block level, but the reason why you are not actually seeing it appearing there is because it actually come down before the image. This input, I think the input is on top already. Let's see, let me see what's going on there. Alright, so what I'm going to do now, I need to set that input to be a block so that it will come on top. It's actually a line block the way you are seeing it there. So I will set the display to be to be block. So when I set the display to be block, what will you see on the browser? What do you observe? It's now coming on top. It's now coming on top of of my browser. So it's not coming on top of of my browser, which is what I really want. But the next thing you need to look at now, this picture that I'm seeing there is too big. So basically now, if you want to do any styling, for example, let's say this video title, I've done that in that last class. If I want to change the color of those text there, I could just call my color, then I'll give it, if I want it to be red, I can give it red. But I said something that color is best measured in either hexadecimal or primary, right? That you can't measure color actually like this. Okay, that's not what we are looking at. So what we are actually looking at first is this image. Now I want to make this image to be small. All right, I will just go to the thumbnail class. I will just call my my width. All right, basically let me see if I give it 200 pixels. Now basically the property that is very relevant for image is actually width. The reason why I keep telling students that the property that is relevant for your image is actually width, you are going to understand now. If this one is 300 pixels, that's 3000. Wow. If this one is what is 300 pixels, we are not saying that properties like font size, color, background color is not applicable to image. It is just that it's not relevant because you can't change. Picture is not font, all right? You can't begin to change the size, all right? Yeah, properties like height is also relevant, but it is not good for you to give your image a certain height because the height will actually spoil the properties of your image. For example, I decided to give this image, I want it to be like a square, and I gave it something like 300 pixels. That's 200 pixels of what? Of width, 300 pixels of what? Of height. What do you observe? Can somebody talk to me? What do you observe? Hello? Hello?
We're here.
Please, I need your response now. I say, what do you observe about this image? I gave it a width of 300 pixels. I gave it a height of 300 pixels. What do
It's
you observe?
compressed.
Yeah, it's
It's
compressed,
compressed.
and the property of the picture has been distorted. Okay, you can see the guy head is long because I want to give it that properties. So the best thing you need to do is the width. The width will take the properties, the quality of the picture to remain the same. Even if I gave it something like 100, the quality of the picture is still there. All right. If I gave it something like 500, the quality of the picture is still what? Is still there. That's why we said it is not good to give a picture a certain height. Sometimes you copy picture from Google Image, okay, or you copy picture from a WhatsApp and you are using it on the website. That particular website would actually spoil the quality of the picture before you bring it to your environment. So please, it is not because some of the from some of all those platform, they have given their platform a default width and a default height. So it will not spoil the quality of the picture before you start what using it, which is not a good practice. Is that okay? Now, if you look at the sample website that we are trying to clone, the last word that they have there, is actually called Google. Let me see. Yeah, they have CEO. When its screen is maximized, they have CEO. How do I make my text to have these properties that I want to make do of? How do I do that? I just have to go back and be styling them one after the other until I get what I really want what I really want. So what I would do now is this. I'll go to I'll go to the video title. I'll give it a certain word width. Let's say I gave this video title a width of, that's why I said, which is also relevant, a width of 300 pixels. When I gave it a width of 300 pixels, I'm having Talking Tech AI Google Words CEO. I think I didn't copy the complete text. Sunday Words Patcher. So let me add it here. So now if you observe something here now, it stopped at Sunday Patcher. That is not what I want on my design. Okay, I want to have CEO at the last. I want to have CEO as the last. So I have to come back here and reduce the property of this. If I gave it something like 250, what do I have now? I have similar features like that. CEO is not the last. So the patcher has dropped has dropped to the uh other line there. Please, are we together? Are we together?
Yeah.
Yes.
All right. So let's. So what I'm going to do now is this. I've given it a font size. Let's give it a font size. Let's assume it that if you look at the sample that they have here, the sample that these guys have here, there's a certain space in between, and even this their own there is bold. Okay, this their own is what is bold. I'm going to come to this later, but let's just take it one step to the other. Now let's say I want to give it a font size. So if you want to increase the font, the property is called what? Font size. So I'm going to give it a font size of 14 pixels. A font size of 14 pixels. Now the font has increased. All right. Then the next thing I want to give it. I want to have a space in between those horizontal space between the talking and the Sunday. So that property is called what? Line height. That property is called line height. So if I give it a line height of something like 20 pixels, so that you see the obvious. What do you observe? There's a space in between. All right, let me make it obvious so that you see it better. You can see that the space between the talking and the Sunday is actually what? Much. So that the work of line height is to give horizontal space between words, text. But let's reduce the line height. Let's make it something like 20 pixels. 20 pixels. So let's make it something like what? 20 what? Pixels. Are we together? Now the next thing we still need to look at now. They have a text here called Macro-Brolly, and this one here. So I'm going to copy this now. This is actually a paragraph. All right. This is actually a paragraph. So I'm going to create another paragraph here. Then for this one here, I'm going to create another paragraph here. Sorry. Now remember, we have to give them class so that we'll be able to style it. Presently it will be appearing somehow. So I'm going to give it a class. This one, let's give it a class of video author, because that's actually the author that is showing there. Video words author. Then this one that we have here, let's give it a class of video words stats. So the reason why we are giving it class, I hope you know, so that we'll be able to style it. Is that okay? So let's call video author, and the other class I'm going to call is your video video start. Video starts. Now what I'm going to do here now, all right, what I'm going to do for my video author and my video starts, definitely you will know that I have to get this particular sample, because there is a certain space between here and here, and there is a certain space between this and this. Now that will take us to the concept of padding and words. Padding specifically. So if I don't want a space for all my paragraph elements, I can just come here and call my element. Remember we said we have the element words selector. We have the element selector. I'll just call my element and give it a certain dimension I want to give. But this time around, I want to make all the margin to be what? The margin to be 0. I don't want to have, by default, they shouldn't have any space. So I'm giving the margin to be what? 0. So what you notice that they are now, when you call a margin like that, it means that you are calling margin top, margin left, margin right, and margin what? Bottom. I've set all of them to be what? To be 0. Now, By default, the paragraph element again come with a default margin bottom and margin top. So the default margin bottom and margin top is actually 14 words pixels. Okay, so that's why anytime you put a paragraph element on your browser or your project, you will notice that it's having a certain space. That is their default configuration. All right, so what I'm going to do right now, for me to separate this one from this one, I'll go back to my video title. I'll call margin what? Margin bottom. So I'll call margin bottom, then I will say margin bottom of 12 words pixels. So what do you observe? There is a certain space between this and this. Now we are not done. We are not done. Why am I saying we are not done is this. The size of this one, of this Marquis Broly, and this one is different from the sample website that we are looking at. We have to what? Make everything to be what? To be the same thing. So what I'm going to do is this. Since the color of this one, they are the same thing, because if you look at this sample here, the color of this, they are the same thing. This one and this one is the same thing, and the font size is the same thing. So we are going to look at a way of calling class. Instead of calling the class the way I call it like this, there's a way you can call it that you call the two classes at once. So what I will do here is that I'll call this away, then I'll put a comma here. All right, I'll call the other class. Are you seeing it? So I want the font, what I want to type here, to be applicable to both. So what I mean, the font size, I'm giving it a font size of 12 pixels. So I said font size is just to increase the font. So the next thing I'm going to give it, I'm going to give it a color, a gray color. So, but I'm going to use RGB to get that color. Sorry, RGB. So that's going to be color property. I'll call my word RGB. Then what I'm going to call, what I'm going to pass here, for me to have a gray color, which is a neutral color, 96969 So I have something like this here. Please, room for questions. Any questions so far?
No question from me, sir.
I hope you understand
So,
it. You understand it also
so,
now.
so no question, but you're going very fast. Like very, but there's no question.
Okay. Don't worry. I'll have to reduce the space. If I'm too fast, let me know. But you just pay attention. If there's anything that is too complex, let me know. The reason why I want you guys to be in this basic, you can see that that kind of a project is a very advanced project, and we are going to be moving it from basic, intermediate, advanced. So if you come to the class late, you may not even understand what we are saying. That's why some people will go and say they don't know what we are doing, because they have missed the basic class. But if you follow us through the basic level, we get enter advanced, you will enjoy my class. Is that okay? Please, let's not miss class for anything. You paid for this program, you should be able to pay that sacrifice to be around. All right, is this okay? Now the next thing I'm going to do now, remember the space between, let's see something here. There's a certain space between this one and this one, true or false? But if you look at our own presently, it's like it is jam packed. So how do I do that? Because the space is coming from the video author. So what I will do in that case now, I will call my video author class separately, because that's what I want to put my margin. My video author what class. So I'll call my margin what? Margin, because now we now understand that the space, you want to put space at the bottom is margin bottom. You want to space at the top is margin top. You want to space at the left is margin left. If you want to put space at the right is margin what? Right. So I'm going to put a small space in between this. Let me give it a margin bottom of 4 pixels. You will not know, but there is a space there. Are you seeing that there's a space in between this text and what? This text. Is that okay? Is that okay, class? Is that okay, please?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Now we are getting this thing gradually. Okay, this is what we have achieved so far right now. So the next thing you will say we should achieve now, you see this image that they have here, this picture that they have here. Let's see how we can also what achieve it. All right, so that we learn from it also. So it means that I need to bring in a picture image. All right, I need to bring in another image to be in that particular place. So the image I'm going to bring in now is let's say another picture. Let me bring the picture. Let me just pass the picture here first, or let me put the picture before these guys. Image elements. Image elements. So now I'm going to go to this place and download this one. Let's download it. Save images. So I don't want to save it inside thumbnail. I want to save it as, because that's actually channel picture. I will, on the image folder, I will create another folder. I will call that folder channel. So the picture is now in there. If you can check, if you see my VS Code now, this is the thumbnail folder, this is the channel word folder. So let me just bring that image there. So we say we go one dot images, I go to channel, then I come here. So if I show you this, you see that the picture is showing on your words or your browser, but presently it's not showing very well. Any questions so far? Any questions so far? All right, let's continue. Now, let's now go to a topic that is very important. That you, if you understand this topic very well, you'll be able to get the structure of any website. Now, let me come down here. There's something we called in CSS. In HTML generally. There's something called layout. All right. There is something called what? Layout. Basically, we have two kind of layouts. So we have the vertical layout and the what? The horizontal what? Layout. Let's get something. I'm going to explain this with Google Drawing so that